welcome to the show, Tawanna.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks
It's so
for having
great.
me.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I love your story because you've actually had a few different businesses, right?
do
You've
have.
tried a few different things, like so many serial entrepreneurs have done, right?
Right.
But once it was all said and done, there were a couple that really stand out. You were selling meals out the back of a trunk, out of the trunk of a car, right?
Out of my trunk.
Tell
Oh
me
my God.
more.
So at 18 years old, I moved to Dallas with $200 to my name and tried to sell plate lunches out the back of my car to car dealerships, beauty shops, barber shops, anybody on the street.
Why?
Because that's what I wanted to do. I mean, food is my passion.
Okay.
I love to eat, and I grew up around food. Both my grandmothers had their own restaurants.
I see. Okay, so there's
passion.
entrepreneurship in your DNA, so to say.
Oh, it's in there. Yes. And so I had prayed to God when I moved to Dallas that I wanted to do something with food. And I moved with my cousin at 18 years old, and I've never driven to Dallas 6 hours away. And so I finally get here and I say, hey, I want to do something with food.
So how did that work, selling food out the back? Because that was conventional. That was something a lot of folks did. That was what year was that?
Right, in 1995.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was a popular move in the 90s.
Yeah.
That worked. Things sort of build, and you end up eventually
Starting my own catering company.
Yeah. And that worked out.
Yeah, so it's 27 years, coming up on 28 in October. So.
But there was a restaurant in the process as well.
And so then I did burger spots, snow cones, and I used to pull a barbecue pit. And then I thought, well, man, I need to do a restaurant. I want a restaurant.
And that seemed like a great idea. It was working for a while.
Everything else was working.
Right.
But I wanted the restaurant. I wanted to do it, experience it.
And at first that worked well, but then the bottom fell out.
Then the bottom fell out.
Tell me more. What happened?
So this restaurant was beautiful. Came with all the bells and the whistles. And I had the money, so I just did it. Walked in with $10,000. I had all the pots, the pans, the beautiful drapes, the paintings. And everything that I've done, I've always asked God, can I have or can I do? So this restaurant, I didn't do that because I just had the money. So I walked in with the $10,000, and by 2011, it drained 5 bank accounts.
Oh my goodness, that had to be really hard. I know that was also a hard part for you. You kind of hit a really dark spot when that restaurant closed, right?
Because I had never been to the bottom.
Happened.
I lost it all, everything. I went all the way down to the bottom. I went so down to the bottom that I tried to take my life after that. And so I, took a whole bunch of pills and a whole bunch of liquor, and I mean, that was it for me because I had never been at the bottom like that.
And clearly it wasn't it for God. You
God
survived.
says no.
God said, no, I've got more work for you to
and
do.
He says, I have more work. And
so you finally moved to a point where you are deciding that you want to work in the transportation business. That's quite a jump. What made you make that shift? Because that's obviously that's where it's working.
This journey has been all about God. It's not just me.
Tell me about the transportation.
So after I lost it all, I was blessed with a dump truck company. TNF Trucking. So we haul dirt, gravel, sand, and debris for the government. And so someone actually blessed me coming in with the dump trucks. He fronted me the trucks.
Right. But tell me how you got from dump trucks to actually transporting customers, high-end clientele. You've had some celebrities in your vehicles, in your fleet.
Oh, a lot of, yeah. So eventually I was still doing the plate lunches because I had to come back. And so I was doing that.
So wait, you're still doing plate lunches and the transportation business?
I was at that time.
Okay.
I mean, the plate lunches led to the transportation business. So I was doing the plate lunches, and my drivers were about to be out of a job.
Okay.
Because I got burnt out after 20-something years.
So that turned into the transportation company? I'm trying to get to how we get to Black Diamond Transportation and this fleet of 22 vehicles where you've got celebrities giving you props as you're driving them around.
I had 8 drivers at that time. And so I was crying to one of my friends and I said, look, my drivers are about to be out of a job. And I feel so bad because they have a family, bills and all this kind of things. And he's like, Tawanna, why don't you look into Uber? I was like, what the heck is Uber? So he gave me the link, and so that night I went home and I looked at Uber, and I signed up, and they approved me the same night. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go out and drive I'm gonna drive my Jeep.
So let me do this though. Let's talk about, because we've seen some pictures of some very popular people. Once you get past your, third-party transporting company, this is a beautiful fleet. This is where you are now, right?
Right.
Tell me about what it's like being in the now, in success, having high-end customers.
It's the most beautiful journey ever, because it's God's way, not my way. And I'm just following him on this path. So he landed all this into my lap and all these wonderful people. And we do luxury transportation in Dallas. So
how were you making this work? Because you've learned some hard lessons, right?
Yes.
How are you making this work? Why is this one different than everything else? Because you started with, I guess, a couple of vehicles, and you now at 22.
Yeah.
Very nice looking
just stay on
fleet.
the path and stand on the path, stand prayed up and just following God's lead. Mm-hmm. If he say move, then we move. If he say buy more vehicles, we buy more vehicles.
Yes. Wow. So
and just giving the service. The service is the number one thing.
Understood. We have about a minute left. I want you to give me just quickly an example of a hard lesson learned, the mistake you learned, and how you solved it. Okay. What did you have to do to shift to another level?
Well, like I said, I had stopped praying, and I had stopped going to church, and I had stopped paying my tithes when I got caught up in this restaurant.
And you really feel like that really made a difference?
Oh, yeah.
Not pouring back into a church, not having some profits
you have
pour
to
in.
have God first. God has to be in the mix. That's my business partner. I don't have any other business partner. He's my number one person, and it's been great.
Understood. That's a powerful, powerful testimony, and you have more story to tell.